Hello everyone, it's your boy the Fantasy Football Almanac back at it with another best ball draft video. Today we're hopping in a Puppy 3 draft $5 entry fee for the chance to win up to $1 million in total cash prizes, $200,000 to first place. So really what we're hoping for is first place, second place, top 10 or bust. I mean anything like that would be absolutely fantastic. You know, winning a couple $100,000 wouldn't be too bad. I wouldn't complain about that. If you do enjoy these best ball videos, please make sure you go down, leave a like on this video, leave a comment. Let me know how you think I did. What do you think a good best ball strategy is? What do you think about the Deshaun Watson news? And subscribe to the channel. With that out of the way, let's hop right into the video. Here we got Christian McCaffrey coming off the board at 1. A little bit surprising. But more and more likely, more and more people are taking Christian McCaffrey as 1 as time goes on. And I can't necessarily say I blame them. I think I'm going with Jonathan Taylor because the floor, but the upside for Christian McCaffrey is totally there. We are most likely, Dalvin Cook's been absolutely soaring up these boards recently. I mean, more and more hype has gone on around Dalvin Cook. We are going to take Dalvin Cook here, make sure we get our guy Dalvin Cook. And then most likely hope for someone like a DeAndre Swift, a CeeDee Lamb, a Saquon Barkley. There's a lot of guys we could really like here, or that I would really like. So we're going to hope for that. We got Devontae. Now the news that Deshaun Watson has been suspended 6 games is finally out as of the time of this recording. So that means we are going to be taking a lot more Deshaun Watson. Well, his ADP is still in the 160s. Right now his ADP is around 163. I'm going to be taking him in the 130s just about every time so I can secure him 100% of the time. Because he's only suspended 6 games. I mean, he has 11 games where he can affect your fantasy season. Or 10 games, I guess, where he can affect your fantasy season. Getting him and Amari Cooper and David Bell, Donovan Peoples-Jones at a discount while they're still going so low, I think it's an absolute steal right now. If I were you guys, I would go out right now, hammer Deshaun Watson. I'm going to be making a video on this. It should either come out later tonight or tomorrow morning on the Deshaun Watson news. Exactly what I think, exactly where I think he should be ranked, everything like that, where I've moved him up to. All that jazz. It should be interesting. Let me know in the comments below. I know I already said this, but let me know in the comments below what you guys think, where you guys think you're taking Deshaun Watson here with the news of a 6-game suspension. And not only Deshaun Watson, where does Nick Chubb go for you? Does Kareem Hunt move? Does Donovan Peoples-Jones, Amari Cooper, do they all move? What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. Here we do somehow have Joe Mixon still on the board here. We like either of these two guys, whether it be Joe Mixon or Saquon Barkley. Usually I don't like going back-to-back running back to start the draft, but if we're going to get value like this, I would gladly take it. And I also do really like Saquon Barkley. Joe Mixon off the board. If Coach expresses workload concerns, I'm not really too big on DeAndre Swift. I think DeAndre Swift is one of the safest running backs you could possibly draft, but I don't know if I love him at this ADP personally. I think he's a good player, but I don't know if he's somebody I would want to be taking here personally. Just not in this draft format. We have Mark Andrews coming off the board. We're going to take Saquon Barkley. Here, I think in best ball formats, in redraft formats, I would definitely be taking DeAndre Swift over a guy like Saquon Barkley. So like that goes for like your home league, anything like that. But in best ball formats where you're really hoping for ceiling, and that's all you need, Saquon Barkley will provide that ceiling time in and time out. I mean, Saquon Barkley has ceiling to go, honestly, number 1. He's one of the few guys, him and McCaffrey, probably the main 2 that have the highest ceilings in the entire draft. And McCaffrey's going 1. Saquon Barkley, definitely not going 1. He's not even going 2, not even going 3, not even going in the first round. Guy's going at pick 17 on average. I think he will keep coming up. But I think these puppy drafts are the perfect time to get in on Saquon Barkley. Because right now, Saquon Barkley can really only go up. I think he will eventually pass Aaron Jones. I think he most likely will be passing Mike Evans. I think a lot of these guys he will end up passing in the foreseeable future. So it's good to get in on him now. I think I really do like Saquon Barkley, and I do own a fair amount. I wish I kind of owned a little bit more shares. I looked, my exposure is only around 18%. I mean, it's still really good, but not where I'd want it to be. It still is good. I mean, that's pretty much 1 in 6 drafts. So I'm getting him more than double than average, but either way, I think Saquon Barkley, phenomenal player in this range in best ball formats. In redraft, maybe not as much, but in best ball, definitely. Now we have a ton of wide receivers on the board. Whether we end up with DJ Moore, any of these guys, I would be really happy. DJ Moore is definitely my favorite in this range now. He's definitely ascended to be my favorite. And the reason why is simple. I mean, he's got Kyler Murray, a guy who's throwing him the ball a ton. His situation will get worse with D-Hop in terms of targets, but will go up in terms of efficiency, becoming the wide receiver too, which he's never been. I mean, I guess if you consider Mark Andrews the wide receiver one, which I guess is fair. I mean, he did put up 1,300 yards. But he's never had anybody across from him like a tandem like he's going to have with DeAndre Hopkins, an absolutely phenomenal wide receiver. We got Pittman and Pitts coming off the board. We got the Pittman over here. No pun intended. Pittman, JGFC. We got Josh Allen coming off the board pretty early, honestly. Along with Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, and Josh Allen. Cooper Kupp coming off the board at pick 5. It's not often you see Cooper Kupp and Aaron Jones getting paired up together. But it is cool. Good for him, I guess, you know. I do like that. Oh, my God. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. T. Higgins falling all the way to pick 28. That's wild. You don't see that too often either. Not too big on A.J. Brown here. I think A.J. Brown, very, very talented wide receiver. I don't think there's any doubt about that, but I'm just a little concerned about the workload. I just don't know if the workload's entirely going to be there. We're most likely going to go DJ Moore here. I think DJ Moore is an absolutely phenomenal play here. Because I'm imagining these top 3 guys will be off the board. And I really, really like DJ Moore, where he's being picked at this current point. So we're going to take him here. Travis Etienne comes off the board. I do like Keenan Allen a lot, but I have been thinking more and more about taking DJ Moore. Because Keenan Allen, I mean, he has the floor, obviously. Keenan Allen is one of the best floors in the entire league. But DJ Moore has the ceiling that I don't think Keenan Allen quite has access to. Keenan Allen has been paired up with Justin Herbert. Pretty much luck of the draw. I mean, that's just insane. Keenan Allen's going to be a beast. But how much of a beast can he possibly be? He's not a guy who can ever put up 1,600 yards. And I'm not saying that about DJ Moore, but I think DJ Moore could comfortably put up 1,300 with the best quarterback of his career coming in. I think it is at least possible. So we're going to take him here. And then we're probably going to take... We're going to hope one of these 2 guys falls. I mean, that would be really awesome if we could get a fall. I'm imagining Sutton will probably be off the board. I'm not too huge on Sutton. So I'm imagining he will be off the board here. Maybe Tate Jung 4 will take him. He doesn't even have a wide receiver yet, so it is possible he does go. Cortland Sutton. And then we just have to hope somebody reaches on a back. He does go Sutton. He may reach on somebody like Zeke. Breece Hall, Cam Akers. Zeke, I don't really know if I'd want. I mean, especially that I have Dalvin Cook and Saquon Barkley. I really wouldn't want him, but just more generally, I wouldn't want him. I think Breece Hall is an interesting pick. I think a lot of people are thinking Michael Carter will be receiving a lot of the receiving work, which is possible, but Breece Hall's ceiling is actually ridiculous. I mean, Breece Hall's ceiling is top 5 running back. There's no doubt about that. The Zosh is up. The Zoish? I don't even know how you say that. We got Hollywood Brown off the board. A little bit unfortunate. Honestly, pretty unfortunate. Here we may go. Such a tough scenario. I'm torn between Terry and Breece Hall. I don't really like Terry that much. I mean, I do. He's really talented, but I just think Breece Hall offers a higher ceiling. And that's why I'm going to go Breece Hall. That was really, really tough. I think either way. This is why pick 9 kind of stinks. Like right here, there is kind of a tear break. I mean, after Hollywood's a guy I would have really wanted. I'm not trying to reach on a guy I could maybe even get next round in Jerry Jeudy. I think it's unlikely we get Jerry Jeudy, but I mean, there's so many guys at 57 that I think can fall. I've seen George Kittle fall there. I've seen Jerry Jeudy fall there. Bateman, Mooney usually goes around there. There's a lot of guys I really, really like at pick 57. Honestly, round 5 is probably my favorite range of the entire draft. I think round 5, just everybody is like guys that I really, really like this year. So we do get Gabe Davis coming off the board, pick 42. Interesting pick. I mean, he does have 2 wide receivers and 2 running backs at this point. I think it is a pretty interesting combination. And now the nice thing is we really don't have to go running back, and we're not in a range where, I guess the only thing is pick 64, there is like a lot of good running backs here. And pick 88, there's a fair amount of good running backs, but usually you don't really expect to see too many great running backs, so it is nice. We reached a little bit on Breece Hall, but now we don't have to worry about running back for a long, long time. And we have our flex position pretty much covered now. which is awesome. Justin Herbert still on the board. Can't say I am too surprised. I think a lot of times people do like to wait on their QBs. Honestly, if he somehow does make it to 57, we'll take him, but I think it's really unlikely. I think we'll hopefully end up getting some value. Zeke falling all the way to pick 46. I would definitely take him there. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. We still have Cam Akers on the board, which is a little surprising. Jerry Jeudy's still on the board. George Kittle's still on the board. Kittle falls a lot, honestly. A lot more than I anticipated. I'm really hoping to get him here. It would just be awesome. I mean, Bateman would be really cool, too. Mooney would be really cool. Chris Godwin. And then I really would like, obviously, Amari Cooper as well. I just don't know if Amari Cooper's going to make it back to me. At pick 64, I usually do like hammering him. I would take him at pick 57 here, realistically, but I think there is a chance that he can make it to me at 64, whereas with these other guys like Godwin, there's really no chance. I would like Godwin here, though. If I could get Godwin at pick 57. And then I would have pretty insane wide receivers if I can get DJ Moore, Godwin, and Amari Cooper. I mean, that would just be insane. That would be really, really strong wide receivers. And really strong running backs. Maybe we just have really good team, honestly. George Kittle does come off the board here. So now it is possible these three guys all come off the board, but I think it is unlikely. I see Brandon Cooks probably coming off the board, Montgomery coming off the board. Oh my god, Godwin gets sniped here. I mean, worst comes to worst, we probably will take Brandon Cooks. A disgusting name, but you know you're going to get value out of Brandon Cooks. We probably will be ending up with one of these two here, whoever it may be, between Mooney. Because I really do like Mooney. I mean, 140 targets, it's not a fluke, you know? It's not fluky. We do have Rashad Bateman coming off the board as well. If we have to take Brandon Cooks, we take Brandon Cooks here. Otherwise, we have to go Mooney. I would prefer Mooney just because I really like Mooney this year. I think the targets are definitely going to be there, and I think his ceiling is higher than a guy like Brandon Cooks, and that's really what matters in a format like this. So I'm hoping to get Mooney. It is his ADP, too. I would be taking him exactly at his ADP, so I'd be fine with it. Let's see, though. Juju comes off the board. Oh, we get Darnell Mooney. I mean, Juju's a good pick, too, honestly. I do think Juju's at least, like, a smart pick. I haven't really been taking him much this year. I probably should take him more. I should be more exposed, considering he does have the opportunity to be the wide receiver one in that offense. And if he is, I mean, that's just insane. But he is on a one-year prove-it deal. I mean, it's not something that they're like, we really like Juju, we're going to get him for 3 years. I do think Juju has been a little underlooked, or overlooked, I guess, this season. Because, I mean, he was a pretty good wide receiver on a terrible team. I think he was wide receiver 18, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago. Then last year he gets injured. Deontay Johnson absolutely pops off. Now Deontay Johnson is competing with for a little bit more targets and is in about the same offensive situation. I don't think anybody's pretending Big Ben is really all that good. Here I'm really hoping for Amari Cooper. If he doesn't fall, it would suck. But it is possible he doesn't fall. We get J.K. Dobbins off the board. This guy might be on auto pick, which would actually be really good for us. I would love if he's on auto pick. Let me actually check that. He did take Waddle and Sutton, and these were both the top two in terms of that. So I'm assuming he did auto draft, and then I'm assuming he is on auto draft here, unless he makes his pick, which makes it really likely that we can either get one of Jalen Hurts or Amari Cooper. Oh my god, he takes Amari Cooper here at pick 61. Ripping our hearts out. Absolutely ripping our hearts out. We'll probably will take Jalen Hurts here unless he is also sniped, unless two quarterbacks come off the board. But this guy already has Lamar, and he reached heavily on him, so I'm imagining he's not taking Lamar. He goes Kyler. Wow, okay, Kyler Murray off the board. We want one guy. At least we did end up getting our guy here. From now on, in the back of the chest, there is still 3 running backs that I like, so I'm going to probably wait. Instead of taking Breece Hall, maybe I should have gone Terry McLaurin here. Always good to look back on your drafts and see where you kind of made a mistake. I think Breece Hall was a mistake here, honestly. I think I should have gone Terry McLaurin. Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Okay, interesting. It wasn't a huge mistake, but it's definitely a mistake. I would have really liked to have gotten Amari Cooper here as well. I mean, that just would have been sick. Instead, we don't. Chris Godwin climbing up these boards as well. I would love to take Chris Godwin at pick 40. I would take Chris Godwin over all these guys at pick 40. Maybe Jerry Jeudy at pick 40 because I do think Jerry Jeudy has potential to be really, really strong wide receiver this year. Someone like that might be smarter there too because I really don't like Terry McLaurin. I think it is smart to not reach too much, but I think in that scenario, I think I probably should have reached and get a guy I was more comfortable on. Because Breece Hall's obviously fine, but I would have been able to have taken... I don't know. It's semantics at this point. We do have Elijah Moore coming off the board. Elijah Moore has been getting some absolutely stellar training camp reports alongside Chris Godwin and Rashad Bateman here. See, I really love this round, honestly. I think everybody's really strong in this round. George Kittle, Chris Godwin, Rashad Bateman, Darnell Mooney, Brandon Cooks, king of value. Amari Cooper will be in this round any day now. I mean, he'll be in this round probably tomorrow, honestly, if anything. And then you have all these running backs, too, who are pretty strong. I imagine, what's his name? Antonio Gibson will probably make it back to us again. Because he always does. But we're probably going to end up hoping Allen Lazard makes it to us. It is tough. I don't think he will, but it is possible. We're going to take Jalen Hurts, and then probably just hope to get Watson at pick 136, most likely. Watson at 136 or what? I mean, honestly, if this guy took Amari Cooper at 61, I imagine he's probably trying to get the stack, so we'll probably go with Deshaun Watson at 129 here. I think that's probably the best course of action. We got Elijah Mitchell still on the board here, a little surprising. I do like the value on Eli Mitchell at this point. I would definitely take him if I didn't have a lot of running backs. But I think the best pick here is definitely Allen Lazard. When he comes back to us, or if he makes it back to us, Dalton Schultz would also be really, really nice. We do overall have a pretty solid team. I think this is definitely a solid roster. It's not the best roster I've ever put together. I think it could be a little bit better. Wide receivers, I don't think are great, but they're not bad. We've got Thielen on the board still. A little surprised about that. I feel like there's always one Thielen lover. Drake London, Kadarius Toney. People also love some Kadarius Toney this year. Me included. I'm a Giants fan. I think he's a very, very talented player. So, I mean, if the offense does well, I think Kadarius Toney is someone you'd want to buy into. We're hoping, though, just to get a really nice wide receiver here. Somebody who can provide some stability to the team. It is possible Allen Lazard is that guy. I would really hope for him to be that guy. I don't know, though. I feel like Allen Lazard has been absolutely drifting upwards. I mean, he's going much, much higher than Aaron Rodgers, even. Aaron Rodgers is a guy I think is supremely slept on this year. I don't really understand why he's going as low as he is. Joe Burrow falling as well. That's a little surprising. Also, Trey Lance still on the board. He could be an interesting pickup as well. Trey Lance or Russell Wilson both on the board here. And it's not like we have any stacks right now, so it is possible. I do think there's no possible way Lazard makes it to us. Yep, I knew it. Dynasty Analyst 1 sniping us with the Lazard pick. I would maybe go Gibson here if given the opportunity, but I think I'm really hoping for Trey Lance here just because Trey Lance's upside is actually ridiculous. And if I were to get him 81 behind ADP, I'll gladly take it. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I mean, this guy's 0 QBs. All three of these people have 0 QBs, so highly unlikely, but possible. Tony Pollard comes off the board. Trey Lance as well. A little unfortunate. And we get sniped on Gibson as well. I mean, just kind of stinks. I mean, I guess we should probably just go Russ here. Because Russ is insane. Can't be mad getting a guy like Russ. So we do have a really good quarterback situation. I do like taking TJ Hawkinson a pretty fair amount in this range, honestly. I think TJ Hawkinson's at least like a somewhat consistent, stable wide receiver. We're really just going to be hammering as many of these wide receivers as possible, though, late, which is usually what we do anyways. I think kind of just like zigging when everyone else zags. Wide receivers are definitely the most important position in this whole draft, but at this point, I don't think it makes sense to really reach on some of these guys, so I don't. Christian Kirk could be interesting. I don't really love taking Christian Kirk that much, but he is a 100-target guy. I mean, had 1,000 yards last year, basically. Some guy who could be a little bit overlooked. I don't really own any Christian Kirk, honestly, at all, but if he does make it back to us, I could at least entertain it. He does not. which is okay. Christian Kirk goes 84. I mean, TJ Hawkinson is probably the best move here. That or, I mean, Michael Thomas is back, so I don't really know if I necessarily trust Michael Thomas. But Chris Olave is probably a good pick as well. I mean, being the number 2 in that offense, I think that should pass at least a fair amount. Is pretty nice. Russell Gage is going to be falling here. I'm all for it. I'll let him fall a little bit more. I mean, if he comes back to me in the next round, I'll definitely take him. It's too much value. It's way too much value. TJ Hawkinson comes off the board here. Really unfortunate for us. Really, really sad, honestly. We're going to go Olave. Unless he's somehow sniped too. That would be pretty depressing. Derek Carr. This draft room's pretty smart. I'm not going to lie. They definitely know their stuff. Alright, so now we have a really well-rounded roster, which I generally don't like to do that much. I really like to have build clearly defined strengths, clearly defined weaknesses, and just hope those weak players, take weak players with really, really high upside. So if they hit, we have strengths everywhere. I mean, that's really the hope. That's my philosophy when drafting. At least in this best ball format, I think it makes the most sense to have players that have really, really, really high upside. Because you pretty much need, to win this $2 million, an absolutely perfect situation to happen. I mean, in this scenario, it's $200,000 either way. I mean, you really need a perfect scenario to happen for anything worthwhile, really. I mean, I don't think there's any way around having a perfect scenario to win this money, so that's the hope. I mean, obviously, on individual teams, a lot of your team is going to get injured, but you could have a few teams that turn out really lucky just because of the sheer amount of people and teams you're drafting. I mean, I do have Jalen Hurts on so many teams, so if Jalen Hurts gets hurt or Deshaun Watson gets hurt or is suspended extra, I'm basically screwed. It would actually suck. But if you guys are still watching this video, please go down, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know how you think I did. Let me know what you think about Russell Wilson this year. Let me know what you think about Tom Brady. How do you guys rank these quarterbacks? Because it is tough. They're definitely in like a range where it's all like they all have their pros and cons. One has an insane upside. A lot of them are very stable. But they're all pretty different, and it just really all depends on how you feel. So let me know down in the comments below how you guys feel about this quarterback range from, I guess, starting with Jalen Hurts, or maybe starting with Joe Burrow, to Tom Brady and Stafford, Aaron Rodgers I would maybe consider in that tier, Dak Prescott. I mean, Aaron Rodgers I would definitely consider in that tier. But a lot of people probably would disagree with me. Oh my god, so many backs on the board. I mean, I like all these guys at this point. If I somehow can get Chase Edmonds here, I would gladly take Chase Edmonds as my 4th running back here. I mean, it just makes too much sense. Like, if you're going to hand him to me on a silver platter, I just can't see how I can refuse something like that, honestly. I mean, please, just, I don't see how you can hand me Chase Edmonds like this. And Rashad Penny comes off the board. We're 9 picks away. We probably won't end up with any of these guys. Pretty depressing. Considering they're staring us right in the face, Chase Edmonds coming off the board as well. All these running backs have been falling a fair amount. I'm not sure if it's just the time I'm drafting and ending up with these people, but these running backs have been falling a fair amount here. It's actually a lot. So I may be starting to wait a little bit more on these running backs instead of taking... I mean, in this position, I pretty much had to, I think. Maybe I could have gone Debo. I mean, it's still possible we end up with a Kareem Hunt kind of situation. Unlikely, but possible. Mets Golets. I definitely have drafted this guy before. I can't remember when, but I definitely have. I feel like I've recognized more and more names. It's a little scary recognizing these names because I'm like, oh my god, I draft too much. I think we have over 100 drafts in now, which is crazy to me. Absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, 30 on the channel at least. These guys all have a fair amount of running backs. I don't know if they... I mean, besides JBC, he's got Tony Pollard and Javonte, which is an interesting combo. Not a bad combo. I don't really know if I like this team, though. I wonder what he's going to do. Maybe he takes a QB. I don't know. Dallas Goedert here coming off the board. We're going to be waiting a while to get a good tight end, I think. We're going to have to probably take... I really don't like taking 3, so... Maybe we don't take 3. I mean, Deshaun Watson comes off the board, pick 102. That's what I was worried about. I was worried he was going to go Deshaun Watson here. He does. It is fair. That's why it is nice. I'm telling you, take Deshaun Watson at pick 129, 136. Every draft you can get him and take him. Every possible draft. Here we're going to hope Kareem Hunt falls here. I have been leaning more and more towards Kareem Hunt. I mean, especially now with the news coming out. And Kareem Hunt's a guy who can get receptions out of the backfield. I mean, that's at least, like, decent. And is in such a good offense with such a good offensive line. I don't care if he's the running back, too. At this point, we're really open for Kareem Hunt. Ramondre Stevenson comes off the board. Ramondre Stevenson ahead of Damian Harris. Wow. Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. I guess we probably have to hope. I don't know. There's a lot of guys I kind of like here, but none like I fall in love with. None I really, really like. And if Damian Harris makes it back to us, we just get 5 backs and call it a day. Dawson Knox will be nice too to secure the bag on. All these guys have tight ends, and I don't, so it is possible. Whereas a lot of the people after me don't have tight ends. I mean, if I double up and I take Dawson Knox and I get like Irv Smith or something, I'd be okay with that. Then I could draft 2 tight ends and be fine. And I already have 2 great QBs, so I don't need to draft a 3rd QB now that Deshaun Watson's off the board. So it is possible I could still end up drafting 3 tight ends here, which is actually kind of nice. It's kind of a relief. We had Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool off the board here from the Zosh. The Zosh. Tate Jung 4 is up. Let's see what he takes. Take a look at this board here. Deshaun Watson, it is sad seeing him go so high now, considering he was way back at pick 200, which I think was dumb. Now, coming all the way up to pick 102. And I know I'm focusing a lot on the Deshaun Watson pick, just in general, in a lot of my videos now, but it is such an important pick. I mean, wherever he goes, I think you should be getting him on your roster, 100,000%. I mean, if you walk away without Deshaun Watson in your draft, I think you're making a mistake. Unless you're reaching for him above guys like Tom Brady, Dak Prescott. Even then, you could honestly make a case to have him above a guy like Matt Stafford because of the rushing upside. He's not a run-first quarterback, but he's a rushing quarterback, if that makes sense. Like, he'll get you 400 yards on the ground over the course of the year, which is really nice. Why not for Greg? 21. See who he takes. We're hoping for Knox here at this point. If we're getting an 8-pick value on him, I'll take him. Because there's really no... Yeah, perfect. I was really hoping he fell because there's really nobody I wanted here, nobody I was in love with. I probably would have taken a Garrett Wilson or a Rondell Moore here. But now, I feel pretty comfortable with this team as a whole. We could get one more tight end here, and then just hammer this wide receiver position. Because we really do need to. Our wide receivers are pretty weak, which we have been doing more and more, honestly. As wide receivers have drifted up in these drafts, and wide receivers have drifted up like crazy, we've been going more and more running back early, more and more tight end early, just because you have to. Irv Smith comes off the board at pick 114. It is possible we can end up with Cole Kmet at 136. And then at that point, I mean, we'd have a Lions or a Bear stack, a pretty terrible Bear stack. I'm not too big on the Bears this year, but I think it would be interesting to have because if their offense does work well, I'll take it. I'll gladly take it. And then I still have to draft 2 tight ends. And there's a lot of guys, a lot of wide receivers I actually like a lot late this year. We'd even take, I mean, I don't think Tyler Algier would be here at pick 153. He's a guy that's been absolutely floating up boards. He's been like levitating up boards. It's crazy to see. I mean, it does make sense, though, but we got Tim Patrick coming off the board, Melvin Gordon, Tyler Boyd, Irv Smith, Rondell Moore coming off the board. He's somebody who has been drafting an absolute ton of, and now he's starting to float back up again. He was falling down draft boards a little bit, which made me a little confused because I do think his situation is pretty decent. I mean, he's still going to be the wide receiver 3, but they did really, really like him coming out of the draft, and he did have at least not a terrible rookie year. I mean, I don't think he looks great out there, but he looked like decent. I mean, 400 yards isn't great, but for a rookie, it's not bad. You figure he goes to 800 this year, he makes your pick worth it. And he could be a big play guy, too. He's very speedy, very dodgy. I would consider him like a Kadarius Toney light Kadarius Toney. That's kind of how he's used, and I don't really think Cliff Kingsbury's the best schemer on the planet. He's probably like an average head coach. I mean, I do think he's at least average, though. I think people give him less credit than he deserves because he's blown a lot of shit in the playoffs. And it is fair. I mean, he has. It's been pretty embarrassing what he's done in the playoffs. And towards the second half of the season, I mean, he's just terrible. Christian Watson comes up the board. We're always getting sniped on Christian Watson. It sucks, but it does make sense, though. We don't need quarterbacks anymore, so I'm going to turn quarterback toggle off. Cole Kmet I'd be fine with. Gallup. Gesicki, potentially. Gesicki has been falling. Maybe we do go with the Jacoby Myers and Gallup. Well, honestly, let me think about this. Because after these three guys, the tight end position gets a lot worse. So we do want Cole Kmet if he's there. Because the tight end position gets so much worse after these three guys. I mean, I think there's a pretty substantial tier break between Gesicki and Henry. ADP-wise, it doesn't seem that people agree with that, but I mean, maybe you can include Hunter Henry in that because he did have 9 touchdowns last year. But he's not somebody who's really, I mean, I guess it's fair. He'll be okay. I just think I would much rather have Cole Kmet, a guy who didn't have a single touchdown last year, mind you. Did not have a single touchdown, but had the same amount of yards as Hunter Henry in an offense that should get better. I hope at least. I mean, Justin Fields should at least improve as a quarterback, so that's why I like Cole Kmet. There's no way he gets 0 touchdowns again. I mean, it's basically almost impossible. So we're going to go with Cole Kmet here as long as we're not sniped, which it is possible because this guy doesn't have a tight end yet. If we do get sniped, I would cry my eyes out. But I would probably wait to get tight end until 136. Just the feeling of betrayal. I hope a guy like Jacoby Myers or Gallup. I really do hope a guy like Jacoby Myers or Gallup falls. We do get sniped here. But it's been happening to us a lot recently, I feel like. We're going to go Gallup here again. It is tough differentiating between Jacoby Myers and Gallup, but I think Gallup's upside is higher, and that's why I personally take Gallup here most of the time. Jalen Tolbert's been flying up boards. He's got early chemistry with Dak, as it says in this report here. I think he has a pretty interesting pick. Maybe we do go Tolbert here, but I would prefer Freiermuth, just because Freiermuth will at least be okay, and he does match our Week 9 bye. Terrible Week 9 bye situation that we have here. So it would be nice to go Freiermuth, get Freiermuth here. These quarterbacks are falling down the board, which kind of sucks for us. We would really hope that these quarterbacks start coming off the board again soon. Kirk Cousins, making my wish come true here. There's 2 guys we like. 2 guys we really like here. The one thing with Justin Fields is that he offers such a nice rushing upside here. I mean, 420 yards, 2 touchdowns should most likely go up if you're getting 400 yards. And then, I mean, he's pretty terrible as a passer, at least as of right now, but what do you expect? Marlon Mack comes off the board, although I would love to go Jacoby Myers. I do only want to have to draft 2 tight ends here, so we're not going to go with him. And now, literally, the only position we're going to be drafting the whole entire rest of the draft is wide receivers. We are going to be taking as many wide receivers as possible. Joshua Palmer, Jalen Tolbert, Jameson Williams, Jahan Dotson, any of these guys. We want as many of these guys as possible. As many guys as we can get our hands on. Nico Collins, Jameson Crowder, George Pickens, not Corey Davis. Definitely not Corey Davis. Ferris Campbell, Isaiah McKenzie, Alec Pierce, Wandale Robinson, KJ Hamler. Any of these guys. Romeo Doubs, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Devin Duvernay, David Bell. As many of these guys as we can get our goddamn hands on. I'll even take Tyquan. No, I'm not taking Tyquan Thornton, but I'll leave him down there in the bottom just to make him feel a little less lonely. We're taking as many of these wide receivers as we can get our hands on. I don't think we're even taking another running back. I don't think we should. The only exception I might make to that is Tyler Algier. Here I pick 153, but no, I can't do that. Tyler Algier comes off at 141 anyways, so we're okay. we're going to end up with 10 wide receivers here, which makes sense. We need 10 wide receivers with our wide receiver core at this point. Chris Olave is our wide receiver 3. We need boom prospects. A boom prospect like Evan Jefferson. Shockingly, absolutely shockingly, in my opinion, Jacoby Myers is still on the board. I mean, Jacoby Myers about to be on the board after round 12. Okay, no, never mind. I take it back. I jinxed him. We got George Pickens coming off the board at pick 144, a little bit early. Jameson Williams. This guy very much likes his rookies. Taking Isaiah Spiller, Rashad White, George Pickens, and Jameson Williams. He is experienced. And then he takes Sky Moore here. His team might have the youngest average age I've ever seen, honestly. His oldest player is probably McCaffrey. That's actually crazy. His oldest player, I mean, Mahomes, I guess, probably. Maybe Chase Edmonds is up there. Chase Edmonds probably 26, if I had to guess. Same thing with Mahomes. Mahomes might be 27 now. And then Chris McCaffrey's 25. Maybe he's turning 26 soon. Maybe he did turn 26, and I just forgot to wish him a happy birthday. Probably should have wished him a happy birthday, but we're literally just hammering wide receivers here. Well, we can. There's really no other running backs. Kenneth Gainwell is somebody who should be shooting up draft boards. I have seen reports that Miles Sanders is practicing with the second team, which is a little unfortunate for Miles Sanders owners. Good thing I'm not one of them. Although whoa. Oh my God. Let's just get back into this draft. That was a little crazy. Ben Jeff's still on the board. I don't really understand why Ben Jeff is falling as much as he is. I was set to see a specialist Monday. Oh, that is a little scary. We still are going to take him here because I do think he offers so much upside. I mean, if he misses a couple weeks, that sucks, but really, what can you do? Returning to practice, that is nice. I did hear he was out with general soreness, which is a little bit annoying, but what can you do? I think Jamison Crowder, deviously young. I mean, he's only 29 years old. I mean, he still has probably another year or two before fading out into complete fantasy irrelevancy. I mean, it is Jamison Crowder, so it is possible he just fades out this year. We do have a pretty interesting team. I like it. We just need to have wide receivers on wide receivers here. Whether that be Nico Collins, Jamison Crowder, any of these guys, we need wide receivers here. We got running backs. We got quarterbacks. We got tight ends. We need receivers badly. As bad as possible, honestly. And if you guys are still watching, please go down, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you do enjoy, and leave a comment down below. Let me know how you think I did in this draft. Also, I'm doing a giveaway. $50 to Underdog Fantasy once I get 50 subscribers. All you gotta do is comment down below #bestball. And once you comment #bestball, you'll be entered in to win this contest. You do it on as many videos as you like of mine. So like, let's say you want to have 30 entries. You go to all 30 of my videos, comment #bestball. And you'll be entered 30 times to win $50. And that $50, you could potentially win $2 million. So, I mean, it's a little bit more than $50 potentially, because you could win a lot of money with the $50 that I am supplying. Davis Mills at pick 159. That brings me right back into the thick of things. He's got the same buy as one of your quarterbacks, and you reached him 50 picks. I mean, what are you thinking? He must be dull in the head. I mean, I just don't understand. Either way, we got Nico Collins here, which I'm pretty happy about. Hopefully a lot of these quarterbacks will be coming off the board, because we have two great quarterbacks here that we're fine with starting. At 177, I do think I'm going to be taking Donovan Peoples-Jones, and at 184, probably David Bell. Even though we don't have the stack necessarily with Deshaun Watson, I think it is probably pretty smart to go up and get a guy like that, because, I mean, they're going to be the wide receiver, too, for Deshaun Watson, a guy who's proven he can be absolutely insane. I just don't understand drafting guys like Michael Carter, Khalil Herbert. I mean, I guess if you're going 0 RB, it's a nice philosophy, which this guy pretty much did. I think in best ball, it's a little bit smarter to go with 0 RB, because if these guys, if let's say for instance David Montgomery is out for the season, Khalil Herbert comes in and he produces just as well as David Montgomery. But I think the odds that this team works out are so low because Michael Carter, Khalil Herbert, most likely one of them will probably get injured, but both of them getting injured and out for the season is unlikely. It is possible, but very unlikely. Romeo Doubs coming off the board at pick 169. This guy, I mean, I do like the team he's putting together. I do really, really like it, but I think he's reaching a little bit too much for my taste. Personally, I really, really want. I mean, Paris Campbell would be nice too. But probably Donovan Peoples. Most likely Donovan Peoples here. I think actually no, I probably will go Paris Campbell and then Donovan Peoples. Wandell is crazy. He's somebody who I own a ton of, first and foremost. But secondly, his ADP fluctuates so much. It's actually crazy how much his ADP fluctuates. I'm kind of hoping to get Paris Campbell just because of ADP. I think it is smart to get a guy like Paris Campbell here. We are reaching a little bit on most of our guys here. We're putting together, I mean, I guess besides the tight end and quarterback, like our team, I think there will be a few combinations of a team like this out there, but I don't think this exact team will be out there. And the odds are pretty much zero that anyone has the same exact team as me. It's very, very unlikely. It is possible, but very unlikely. Here we're going to go Donovan Peoples-Jones. I mean, I have now risen so much in Donovan Peoples-Jones. Who cares about his efficiency with an injured Baker Mayfield? If he's ascending to be the number 2 here, I mean, Anthony Schwartz, not a threat, I don't think. A sad threat if he is. Brian Robinson coming off the board. We're going to take Donovan Peoples here. Unless we get sniped here. That's really the only way we're not. We're taking Donovan. And then we go Alec Pierce. And our last pick, 201 and 208. We're going to hope to get David Bell. I think it's unlikely that we do. I think this Deshaun Watson team will most likely snipe us. I would like KJ Hamler here because KJ Hamler does have the opportunity to be wide receiver 3 in this offense, which I think is good. Activated off PUP, I mean, unsurprising, but he's a very young wide receiver, second round draft pick. I think taking a guy like that and then just hoping he supplants Tim Patrick as a wide receiver 3. Let's say Russ has a connection with him. Russ likes KJ Hamler. He's the cheapest one, I guess for a reason. I mean, right now he's the wide receiver 4, but he's the cheapest one in this offense. I mean, why not take a risk on a guy like KJ Hamler, a guy who's a very, very speedy guy, and we know Russ likes his speedy guys. So I think KJ Hamler's really, really smart here. I mean, Russ also likes his big body wide receivers. I'd point to DK, but DK's also just like inhuman, you know. Like he really, really likes DK because DK is a good receiver. So now we got KJ Hamler. We got 2 more rounds to go. Noah Fant and Brevin Jordan coming off the board. Let me know what you guys think about the Deshaun Watson news, though, down below. I am interested to hear, because it is probably the most exciting news in terms of fantasy intel and, like, changing things in terms of fantasy. That's happened in the past 2 months. Honestly, since I've started my channel, I think it's the most enticing news. I mean, I guess besides the other side of the coin where Deshaun Watson got absolutely screwed. Not screwed, but, like, the report with, you know, the 66 women, like, coming out. So, like, those are probably the 2 biggest stories just in terms of magnitude at the quarterback position. I don't see it at any position this offseason. Maybe the Julio Jones signing is kind of big. I really don't think there's too much. I mean, obviously Russell Wilson all going to Denver, Deshaun Watson going to the Browns, but there's a lot of things that I missed out on this offseason because I did start recording so late. Next year I will definitely be on that. I'm going to be building out models. I'm going to be putting together a draft report for you guys, for my people. I'm going to be hustling next season. Not that I'm not hustling this season. I'm hustling my ass off. but working harder to get more variety content out, because I am just one person. Try and get as much good quality content out for you guys as possible, so you guys can absolutely crush your fantasy leagues. I mean, that's really the hope. I want to see down in the comments below next year or at the end of this off season saying, "Oh my God, thank you so much for your advice. You actually won me in my fantasy league, so thank you." And then give me 10% of your winnings. Nah, just kidding. But yeah, that is what I'd really like to see. So that's my hope. Fingers crossed. We got Wiggle Way taking Watkins. Wiggle Way Watkins. It's a cool name. Actually, sick nickname. Wiggle Way Watkins. What the hell's up with all these quarterbacks? Zach Wilson going all the way at pick 193. You never see that. Never. Doesn't matter to me, though. I don't really care about any of these guys. I mean, maybe I'd take Terrace Marshall here, potentially. But I think David Bell's got to be the option here if he's still on the board somehow. I mean, I'm assuming Dynasty Analyst, he's got Deshaun Watson. He probably wants David Bell. I mean, he most likely wants that stack. And he might potentially deprive me of taking him. I'm surprised a lot of people aren't really trying to reach higher on Deshaun Watson. Or Deshaun Watson pieces, to be honest. Now with this news coming out, I think the news makes Deshaun Watson so attractive. And I've been drafting Deshaun Watson absolutely everywhere. Like I said, he's my most owned QB. Kendrick Bourne coming off the board. It is nice having him as my most owned QB too, because now I feel like it's like I can kind of sit back and relax with my Deshaun shares a little bit now that he's going to be coming up so much in value. We got Carson Wentz off the board. This is the moment of truth right here, whether or not David Bell's ours. This is the moment of truth. Pick 187. If he does fall past Dynasty Analyst, we will get him. Curtis Samuel. He does go Curtis Samuel. David Bell, are you kidding me? You don't even have... Oh, no, this is the guy who took Deshaun Watson. That's why. Okay. Damn. That got me pretty mad. Doesn't make sense, though. I don't blame him. James Washington with it. Oh, man. Wow. 30 minutes ago. James Washington to miss 6 to 10 weeks with a fractured foot. So anybody buying into... Wow. Oh, my God. That's crazy. So don't draft James Washington. Don't draft James Washington. If anything, be drafting the other guys. Draft the Gallops, who I do also own a ton of. So, I mean, it sucks to say I feel terrible that he got injured. But for my fantasy stock, it does make my fantasy team a little bit better. And then, yeah, I would be drafting Tolbert here as well. Tolbert will definitely be ascending now because he's most likely going to be the wide receiver 2 here in this offense. And then here we're most likely going to be taking... I don't really like the value on OBJ at all. I just don't see a potential where he comes back before week 10 or something like that. He literally tore his ACL in the Super Bowl. And it's not like he's a spring chicken. He's almost 30 years old. So we most likely will be taking a little tight because I do have a fair amount of James Washington stock. I do own a lot of these Dallas wide receivers, but I was hoping, one of them just really pops off. That's the goal for me. I figured if one of them pops off, then I win, and that's really what I was trying to do. I may consider taking Tyquan Thornton here as another deep ball guy, because although he probably not going to get that many receptions, when he does get receptions, it's going to be a lot of 60-yard bombs and things of that nature, so it is possible. I mean, I will say the coaching staff over in New England, pretty good coaching staff. I think Bill Belichick's an alright head coach. I mean, he's not terrible. But they cannot hit wide receivers. I mean, N'Keal Harry was an absolute bust. I feel like I never see them with absolutely phenomenal wide receivers. Tyquan Thornton could be that different guy, but, I mean, most people were saying at the end of the draft process that he was an absolute reach. I hope for this pick he's not, because I do want him here. But either way, that is most likely going to be the video. If you guys did enjoy, please go down, leave a like, leave a comment, #BestBallSCB entered into the contest, and subscribe. You can always change your mind later if you don't enjoy the content, but I don't see why you wouldn't. It's great Dynasty and Fantasy and Best Ball Draft content over here. I hope you guys really do enjoy the rest of your day or night or whenever you're watching this. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great night.